Greetings, fellow pals and gals of the YouTube world. It's your boy, the WolfGamer25, and we are back for another riveting segment of Figure Friday. For tonight, it will be the first episode of the Double Digits for Season 2. That's right, folks. Tonight is episode 10. Very excited. Very excited because, oh man, the numbers are really getting up there. I'm happy to say I've had a steady increase in my subscribers, and I'm very happy about that because I want to give a shout out to that person. You know who you are, and thank you for becoming part of the Wolf Pack. And I would very much like to also ask, before we get into tonight's content, please do your boy a favor if you haven't already. Please go get something to eat, something to drink, a snack or two if you want. Please, I'll give you a few minutes. Go right ahead, and then don't worry about me. I've already eaten. I've already had plenty of stuff to drink, but for the sake of all the talking we're going to be doing tonight, all of the stories of which I want to be speaking, I got me a little sip. But please do me a favor and go do that. We'll give you a few minutes. Very exciting tonight. I forgot to stretch. Oh boy. You guys good? Because I do hope that you know. Don't worry, we're not going to show nothing right now. I just want to let you guys know that you're awesome. You are doing everything that you can. You're the best, and that you are killing it out there. I just wanted you to know that, just to let you know, just in case anybody didn't tell you today. I figured I would be the one to tell you. I like the beat. It's catchy. You guys good? You guys ready to rock and roll? Because Lord knows I am. I'll wait till the 3-minute marker. Then we'll get started. Okay, there's a 3-minute marker. So, for today's figure review, I thought that we could take a walk into the world of DC. Now, I chose this world because I just realized that it's not really talked about all that much, and that hurts. Personally, that hurts my soul because not only am I a huge Marvel fan, but I'm also a big DC fan. I mean, I started DC before I actually started watching Marvel. Now, that I know what you're thinking, but why do you have more Marvel stuff than DC? Well, there's a simple solution to that, and well, it's just, I mean, I've been able to find more Marvel items than I have DC. It is pretty sad when you think about it, but at the same time, it's because I support both worlds, because they both have their strengths and their great qualities, and yes, at the same time, they both have their weaknesses. Don't get me wrong. No world is perfect, and they never will be because of all the fanboys out there saying that one world is better than the other. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, they're both great. They're both great worlds. Everybody out there represents them, and we all know what they stand for. It's not to be better than one world. It's to bring us together in the spirit of comic book love, because that's really what it boils down to. But before we go any further, please do your boy a favor. Kick your feet up, relax, take a deep breath. Relief, put your hands behind the back of your head if you want to, and fall out, because it's going to be a long journey into the world of DC. So, we will be introducing 4 figures today. Sorry. I have more, but you've probably already seen them in some of my previous streams. I do appreciate all the views on those, by the way. But hey, I figured today we could bring in some faces that some are talked about, and possibly a couple that aren't really talked about. Uh, Excuse me, my apologies. A little gassy, a little gassy. But I figured for the first, we have first three who are key members of the actual Justice League, and the fourth one is, she's not necessarily a Justice League member, but she is a part of a team who has been with her for a very, very long time. They've like become a family to her, and they've taken care of her and always been with her. But we'll get into all that. We'll get into all the stories. We'll get into all of that that tie together into the DC. We'll talk about who they are, where they come from, and all that jazz. So, let me just fix this. Are you gonna cooperate? Okay, cool. So, I figured we'll go ahead and introduce the wild card, if you will. Now, I'm speaking, of course, of the one who isn't on the Justice League team, but she is a key member of the DC universe because, to me, I first found out about this particular female from one of the childhood series that I grew up watching. And she, at first, she kind of appeared just as a sort of a dark, moody teenage girl, if you will, because in the beginning, she was sought to be sort of kind of a apocalyptic end of the world type because of her backstory and her origin. Because as it turns out, she's half human, but she's also half demon. Because as it turns out, she's half human, but she's also half demon. And of course, that falls under the category of her old man being the demon. Sorry, which of course you can probably guess where I'm going with this. Um, she hails from the world of Azarath, which of course her hometown was, however, destroyed, burned to the ground, which of course is also known as the demon Trigon. Yes, it's true. You can probably guess where I'm going with this, but she's one of the mistresses of magic, and she has three of the most well-known words, but at the same time most dangerous words in the world of DC. And of course they are Azarath, Metri, Zinthos. And of course, I'd like to have asked that you guys please help me to introduce the dark blue cloak wearing Mistress of Magic, Raven. Now, as I said, she is half human, but that's on her mother's side. She was given the name by her mother, and of course, whenever her and her father had basically, kind of got forced into a whole marriage type deal, that's when Raven was born, and at the same time, that's where she got most of her demonic side, because she has been able to control most of it, but that's of course due help from her adoptive family, if you will, who are also called the Teen Titans, and they have been with her for a very, very long time. They always look out for her. They take care of her. They try their best to make sure that demonic side of hers stays calm, stays still. Because if there was ever a time where Miss Raven here would lose control and give in to the demonic side, then better believe that her father is going to be there right next to her, because it is going to be a post-apocalyptic, basically a magical nuke going off, because it's just that powerful and she's that dangerous when it comes down to her dark side. But with the help of her friends, Robin, Cyborg, and Starfire, mostly Beast Boy, because we all know he has the hots for her, but he won't admit it, but that's okay. Even though she gives off, as I said, that dark and moody teen vibe, she does have a kindred spirit and a softer side to her, which basically allows her to be more well known in the DC universe. And this was actually before the Demon Lord Trigon had come, before as I said, her living her life out in the beginning in the world in the lands of Azarath, before which of course she was actually kidnapped by Trigon, because in a way that's how she got her demonic powers. I know that seems a little confusing, but it's actually true. And I do give props to her mother and the monks of Azarath, because they did everything in their power to try their best to shield young Raven, but to no avail. But here's a spoiler alert. For those of you who didn't know, her actual name, Rachel Roth. Roth. But yeah, that's Raven. But I gotta tell you, I love the fact that this was her very first DC costume that she had ever worn, and this is dating back all the way to the comics. Now, she's always loved the whole dark blue, cloak looking thing. But to me, I feel like it just adds more dynamic and color to her because it helps her stand out more. She's got the earrings she's rocking, of course, the pendants here, which, of course, I don't know if you can see. Here on her cloak are actually ravens. Does she have to look all black like that? That was actually the name that was given to her, I do believe, by the Titans. Forgive me because I haven't had a chance to read much on young Raven here, but she is a force to be reckoned with when it comes down to it. Because while like her friends are with the more kind of like destructive and physical type troubles and wrongdoings in Jump City, she's kind of handling the more evilish and like demon sides of somewhat, kind of like John Constantine, if you will, but hers I would say is a little bit more serious because she goes toe to toe with much more dangerous demons and of course creatures. But I gotta tell you, that old man Trigon of hers is also not to be trifled with. Yes, but moving on. We're gonna go ahead and get into the members of the Justice League. Okay, we're gonna be bringing up 3 members. I figured for the first one, we could go ahead and introduce one of the founding members. This particular individual here, how can I put this? He is extremely smart, extremely resilient. He's got the brains on him. He is an excellent crime scene tech. He knows what he's doing when it comes down to lab work. And of course, when it comes down to being a good CSI. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for one fateful night when there was a particular explosion at Star Labs, then we never would have got this particular individual here, known as the Scarlet Speedster. Oops, sorry, let me fix that. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to very much ask for your humble welcoming of Mr. Bartholomew Allen, aka Barry Allen, aka The Flash. Now, what you'll notice about this one is that it's actually the TV version, because I actually watched the TV version of it, and I gotta tell you, it was good. I really liked it. I love the fact that they included a bunch of his origin stories, because that dates back to, in a way, I kind of got some Batman vibes from his backstory, because there was one fateful night where there was a disturbance in the home of Mr. Barry Allen here, and of course, being the young man that he was, he went down to investigate because he grew curious. But he only happened to come upon a very tragic sight, as of course there was kind of a bolt of yellow lightning which was basically circling around his mother, and in doing the process of that, he was just a helpless child, couldn't really do much to help other than just stand there and watch his own mother die right in front of him. And in doing so, that gave him inspiration to become a crime scene tech. And as I said, there was one fateful night when the particle accelerator exploded over at Star Labs, sending out a lightning bolt up into the sky. Now, whenever the lightning bolt had struck, and most people say that it struck randomly, but honestly, I think it chose Barry Allen here. And when it did, it basically knocked him out, yes, but it gave him amazing abilities. Super speed, super healing. He does have a much faster metabolism, if you will, because he can eat full course meals and not gain a pound. But also, I would very much like to let you guys have one last look at him, because the costume is actually TV show accurate. They got the bolt on his chest. This is actually the season 1 suit that he's wearing. He did, however, get the much kind of lighter red suit, but that came later in the series. I don't want to spoil nothing for those of you guys who haven't seen it. I mean, I feel like I have already because I've shown this to you. For those of you guys who haven't seen The Flash, I'm sorry. But one thing, a few things I meant to mention about Raven. Sorry, gotta backtrack real quick. Were her abilities. It includes such things as levitation, telekinesis, telepathy. She does have the demonic abilities, of course, but that's more of her dark and destructive side. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the good side of Raven. The side that Beast Boy really likes. But to me, I kind of feel like he likes both sides of her. I really don't think it matters, but hey, yeah. Man, that's a lot of talking. I gotta get a swig. I gotta get a swig. Oh boy. Pardon. Pardon me. Now, we're going to go ahead and bring up another member of the Justice League. Now, this particular female here, she did make a movie, but the first time I saw her was in the Justice League animated series, and I didn't really know what to expect from her because I didn't really get a chance to read hardly any of her comics. I do feel ashamed because I didn't, because she is a very powerful female in the DC world. She knows how to handle herself, extremely agile, extremely strong, um, more so kind of like godlike strength, if you will. She is. Some people say she was born, but other people say she was molded from clay. But I mean, stipulations for me, it's hard to say because I haven't really read much of her comic books. I've only seen like her in animated series and movies. But this particular female, she is as beautiful as Aphrodite. She is wiser. She's as wise as Athena. She's swifter than Hermes, and sometimes even stronger. Well, actually, scratch that. Not sometimes. She is stronger than Hercules, because as I said, she's got that godlike strength. Ladies and gentlemen, most people know her by the name of, in the human world, most people know her as Diana Prince, but she does have another name in the world of heroes, and that is Wonder Woman. Now, this one is actually the movie version, if you will, starring Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot, I think it is. God, forgive me if I butcher that name. Come on, camera, focus. I want y'all to see her. Maybe focus in a minute. I don't know. There we go. And as you can see, this is movie accurate. She's got that shield of hers. She's got, of course, rocking the blade. Forgive me if I get this wrong. I do believe that that's called the God Slayer sword. Please forgive me if I got that wrong. God, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. But as you said, rocking that beautiful movie look that she's got here. The center chest piece, the breastplate, if you will, utility belt, and she also does come with her lasso of truth, which of course she uses on the enemy, of course, to basically make them tell the truth. If she feels like she's hiding something from them, or something from her, sorry, all she can do is just use that to basically make them speak and spit their deepest, darkest secrets. But as I said, godlike strength. She can fly. She is extremely combat skilled, even from birth. Born on the island of Themyscira, which of course is home to nothing but females. But one fateful day, when there was a small breach in security where a man had actually come to the island of Themyscira, and of course, Diana being the woman that she is, born into a world of nothing but females, she'd never seen a man before, so she didn't know what to expect. And in doing so, she went with him to the actual human world. She discovered all kinds of new sensations, new feelings, but also new threats. And of course, in this one, she was taking on the god of war, also called Zeus. Not Zeus. Oh God, why did I say that? Oh, I know why I said that. Because I had that thought in my brain all day, and as it turns out, she's the daughter of Hippolyta. Yes, it's I believe it's Hippolyta and Zeus. Please forgive me if I butchered that wrong. I did not get a chance to read up on that because I'd only had that one thought in my mind all day. But yes, and in doing so, it was actually Ares. forgive me. She was Ares that she was going up against one on one, but in doing so, she was actually able to find out who she really was, what her mission was, and why she was doing it. Now, I will get into it, but I know there are potential folks out there who have not seen the movie yet, and I do not want to spoil it because I feel like I already have just by talking about it, just by talking about the movie. So please, find it in your hearts. Forgive me. Now then, moving on, and last but not least, this one, however, is my personal favorite. Now, he was also one of the founding members of the Justice League. He didn't really necessarily stick with them for a while because his partner had actually, I'm not going to say took over his spot, but he actually kind of just, I feel like he kind of assumed the position so that he can go out and basically look over other universes or other sectors. Now, uh, he was human once before donning the abilities and powers that he was able to receive. I'm getting there, don't worry. In the human world, he was a test pilot, and he was very good at his job. It's just most people thought of him as brash, arrogant, cocky, because he felt like he was the whole package, But it was one fateful night where he was visited by a green orb. And of course, in doing so, you probably guess where I'm going with this. Um, Most people know him as in the human world as Hal Jordan, but me, he came to be known to me as one of his other name, the Green Lantern. Now, as I said, this is the Hal Jordan version of the Green Lantern. There is another Green Lantern out there that I'm seeking. I have not found him yet, but that's not to say that I'm going to give up because I know I'm going to find him and I'm not going to give up. Come on, camera, you did it for me once. Do it again. You did it. Do it again. Come on. Come on. Okay, it's not focusing. But, anyways. As I said, Mr. Jordan here, he was visited by a green orb, right? And in doing so, he was encased in it, which of course teleported him to a spaceship, if you will, which of course was crashed in the harbor. And that was where he met the first ring bearer, Abin Sur, who had been critically injured, and of course he was dying at the time. And of course, as Hal Jordan had basically jumped into action to save his life, it was already too late. The injuries were too bad, and of course, Abin Sur had asked him one thing: what was his name? And in doing so, he told him. And of course, when that happened, Hal Jordan was given a gift. This bad boy right here, the Green Lantern ring. Now, I know this is not what it really looks like. It's just this was one of the many snags that I found at the Houston Comic Con that I went to. Here, I'll give you guys a look. Because if you look at it here, the centerpiece is actually green. I love the fact that all around it is green also. And as he forgive me. It's just I love talking about the Green Lantern. He's my favorite DC hero. Whew. So, as Abin Sur had just up and died after a few hours, Hal Jordan had assumed the role of the Green Lantern, which was protector of Abin Sur sector, which of course is Sector 2814, and he was taken to the planet of the Green Lanterns, which of course is known as Oa, where he was basically trained by the fellow Green Lantern known as Kilowog. And in doing so, it helped him discover that, in doing so, becoming a Green Lantern was a extremely, extremely rare and huge responsibility. Although Mr. Jordan here, he felt like he couldn't do it at first because he had somewhat of a traumatic and tragic past, as his father had actually died before. Actually, now that I think about it, yes. His father had died during a routine test mission, which of course during an air show, and of course young Hal here had actually seen his father's jet go down just before a takeoff, and it caught fire. In doing so, he had watched his own father die as the jet exploded before his father could get out. But if it wasn't for the fact that remembering his father had one thing that he needed to basically push forward, which of course was courage, not willpower, because that's basically what all the green is for. Because green is the color of will. There are other Green Lantern Corps out there, but it is true they are represented by a different color. But I don't want to get into that. We're talking about the Green Lantern tonight, you know. But yeah, um, he did. He did take the courage of knowing that he knew that he was afraid, that he felt like he couldn't live up to the name of the Green Lantern, because they're basically intergalactic police, and they handle situations that are much bigger than the Earth itself could even prepare itself for. But in doing so, he was able to rally himself to become one of the greatest Lanterns in Lantern history, who had actually defeated the villain. What was his name? Parallax. That was his name. Yeah, that's how he was known. That's how he went down in history as known as one of the Green Lantern's greatest, because he was the one who defeated Parallax. Because Parallax was basically an eater of fear, if you will, which of course is yellow. But I don't want to get into that. And if it wasn't for Mr. Jordan here, his heroic efforts, even though he was on his own, he was able to come together, bring himself together, and power himself in order to go up against Parallax and defeat him once and for all. And to me, that's still one of the many great moments in comic book history, because that is the biggest moment that everybody remembers Hal for. Oh boy, let me get a swig on that one. I'm sorry once again. I can just talk about him all day. But there's still other lanterns out there that I want to be able to find. I will definitely bring them here for you all to see. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right here. I do appreciate all of you guys who came to see me and who spent some time with me. And if you like, feel free to hit the follow button when it's posted there shortly. And until next time, guys, stay safe, stay awesome, stay weird, and stay yourselves, huh? Peace.